Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Your Trades with me, Ankur Mishra and Kanishka Sarkar. And Kanishka, what a day of markets today. We was just short of 25,000 mark. We did touch 25,000 during the day, but yet Nifty able to close at 24,980 levels as we speak, and we are still waiting for the settled rates.
Absolutely. It has closed just shy of that 25,000 mark. In fact, during the day, like you said, we did touch that 25,000 level, but we couldn't hold on to that. We have ended 100 points higher. Now, of course, the rally was led by the auto pack today, whether it is Tata Motors, Hero MotoCorp, Bajaj Auto, all of them. Tata Motors 2.5% gains on the back of that news flow that China could be easing rare earth export curbs to India. That boosted the sentiment for the auto pack. Other than that, Delta Corp was also among the stocks that was in focus today. It rallied after getting on the news flow, that the government could be looking at regulating online gaming platforms. However, the stock did rally in today's trading session. Apart from that, cotton-linked stocks, they also gained today as India has decided to halt import duties. So that's the reason why cotton stocks also had a rally coming in today. Apart from that, telecom stocks were also in focus today after Jio made the news that it is scrapping its 1 GB per day plan, effectively hiking the base tariffs. And on the back of this, not just Reliance, apart from that, Bharti Airtel and Vodafone Idea, they were also buzzing in today's trading session. Apart from that, in stocks, JSW Cement, that also jumped after Motilal Oswal initiated coverage on the stock, while PVR Inox also was seeing traction in today's trading session on the back of new screen openings. So that's how the business world shaped up today, and markets, as we said, they've ended just shy of that 25,000 level. Let's see if we are able to cross that tomorrow.
Yes, of course, we need to know whether or not that attempt will be made in the rest of the trading days in the week. And to decode that, I have with me Ajit Mishra from Religare Broking. Ajit, welcome. My first question to you will be, will we sustain this 25,000 mark? And more importantly, do you see that there will be an attempt which will be made on third day as well?
Yeah, good afternoon, Ankur. So yes, see the way things have panned out means last week was a week of consolidation around the 100 EMA. We could, manage to hold that area around 24,600. This week we have started with a gap up opening above the short-term hurdle of 24,800 mark. That's the 20 EMA zone. Though yesterday's close was not very decisive, but the way we have ended today means a tight range consolidation followed by a close around the day's high. This indicates that this move is likely to continue, means this recovery is likely to extend further, and 25,250 is something that the Nifty is going to test. So as of now, yes, indications are in the favor that this recovery is here to stay, with 24,750 now being the critical support area. So as long as we are holding above this mark, one should continue with buy on dips approach.
Buy on dips approach, and the recovery is likely to sustain tomorrow as well and the week going forward. But Ajit, what would be your top stock picks in this kind of a market environment?
Right. So, see, we are seeing rotational buying across sectors. So, no doubt, auto is leading from the front, but now we have started seeing some traction, serious traction in the PSU banking space too. And Bank of Baroda within this space is something that we like. It's been almost a month that the stock has been trading in a very tight consolidation range, and indications are in the favor of potential breakout in the near future. The current consolidation is basically a buying opportunity. So with stop at 242, one can accumulate BOB at current levels, with 258 being the immediate target. Then we have from the FMCG space, Marico, which is anyways outperforming within this space. And we feel that the consolidation that the stocks was experiencing around the record highs, it seems over now, and we might see next leg of the up move soon. So 755 is what we are eyeing in Marico. So with stop at 710, one can accumulate Marico as well.
So those are your top top stock picks. Thank you so much, Ajit, for sharing that and also the outlook going forward for the week. But moving on, let's get the word from the wise. Now, Manish Gunwani, who's the head of equities Bandhan AMC, shared with us his long-term themes. He also believes that new age tech, financials, consumption are the good bet over the next 3 to 5 years. Let's listen into his rationale.
Some of the structural things I think which will work to my mind are things like internet platforms or any company which has got some R&D to go and conquer the global market through exports. Um, Third is financialization. We all know that savings are moving from banks to capital markets. So these structural themes is what you try and play. I think affluent consumption also is a good long-term theme. So whether it's aviation, hotels, etc. Obviously, valuations are expensive everywhere. But again, as I said, the macro is such that I guess you just live with these high valuations.
All right, moving on, let's also shift focus to news which is coming in from Cabinet. According to sources, Cabinet has approved online gaming bill, and my colleague Prakash Priyadarshi is joining with more details on this story.
The cabinet meeting has just concluded, and we are learning from our sources that the Indian cabinet has given nod to online gaming bill, a very significant development coming in. This is something which is negative for all online gaming apps who are involved in betting practices, because the government clearly shown its intent that they want to regulate such betting online gaming apps where a lot of provisions have been added. That includes, of course, a penalty and punishment in case of any such endorsement by any celebrity. Of course, there is a provision of banning these apps if they are involved in such betting practices. So the Indian cabinet has given its nod to this proposed bill, which is likely to be introduced in the Lok Sabha tomorrow. Along with that, this decision has been taken by the Indian cabinet after wider consultation. A lot of such complaints have been received in the last few years as celebrities are involved in promotion of such betting apps. A lot of some negative impacts are being seen, and therefore, Indian cabinet has decided to bring a bill to regulate such gaming apps. We are learning from our sources that tomorrow in Lok Sabha, this bill is going to be introduced, and we are expecting its clearance from the Lok Sabha as well. Let's see how it pans out, but at this point of time, a very significant development coming in that the Indian cabinet has given its nod to the online gaming bill. Back to you.
Right. Thank you so much, Prakash, for getting us that latest updates. But now let's shift focus and also talk about all the stocks that were in focus in today's trading session. First up, it was Alchem Labs, which was in focus after launching Allsoft Trucera, which is an advanced ceramide boosting moisturizing lotion for skin barrier repair. So that's the reason why this stock was in focus. Next up, we have Alembic Pharma, which has actually received the US FDA nod for ANDA macitentan tablets, and it is estimated that the market size of this particular drug is $1.8 billion for the 12-month period ending June. Next up, we have JSW Semen, which was in focus today after Motilal Oswal has initiated a coverage on the stock after its recent IPO with a neutral call, and the target has been set at 163 rupees. It believes that the company will be leveraging group synergies with greener solutions. And lastly, we have JSW Infra, which was also in focus, especially in the last hour of trading after Jeffrey said that it has maintained its buy call with a target price of 375 rupees.
All right, thanks for that update. But let's also shift focus, which are the cues to watch tomorrow. Of course, Finance Minister is going to address GOM on GST, in which is a much watched out event. My colleague Snehi is joining with all those cues to watch tomorrow, and which are those events to watch.
Well, yes, lots of cues to watch out for, and the first one and the biggest one is going to be the meeting that the finance minister is expected to chair, and that's going to be the GST group of ministers, the GOMs, that are expected to meet on the 20th and 21st of August for rate rationalization as well as next-gen reforms discussion. And the finance minister is expected to chair this meeting, so watch out for this, and this is going to be the biggest trigger to watch out for as well. Globally, you have some macroeconomic indicators coming in from the US. You have the July FOMC minutes of the meeting coming out, so that is going to be key to watch out for. UK and Eurozone inflation print in the form of CPI will be out, China loan prime rates data will be out, and Japan also trade data is going to be very key to track. Shifting focus back home in terms of some corporate action and board meetings, watch out for South Indian Bank. The board is going to be mulling buyback. Senco Gold is also going to be trading ex-dividend, and it's going to be the last day to buy shares of Coal India, HAL and RVNL to be eligible for their dividend record date if you wish to do so. In terms of AGMs, BSE, Canfin Home, Bharti Hexacom, Sterlite Tech as well as RailTel will be in focus. And lastly, in terms of some other events other than the meeting with the GOMs, FinMin is also expected to meet with CEOs of PSBs or the public sector banks to review their Q1 performance. Atlanta Fed President Raphael Bostic is expected to speak, and along with him, Fed Governor Christopher Waller expected to speak as well. So these commentaries are going to be very important to track. So watch out for all of these cues, all of them very important to track.
Thank you so much, Snehi, for taking us through all the cues that we need to watch out for tomorrow. But moving on, the centre has halted duty on cotton imports till September end. Now, remember, this comes amid India's garment industry is facing 50% tariffs on US shipments. Now, let's go across to Sami to get us all the details on this front.
In a move to provide a certain relief to the domestic textile industry, the centre has exempted the custom duty on cotton. It is a temporary suspension, and the custom duty on cotton has been exempted from August 19th till September 30th. So this exemption is a temporary exemption, but government understands that this will provide a certain relief to the textile industry, which is already facing challenge and kind of a pressure because of higher tariff of 50% imposed on the shipment to US. So this is a long pending demand from the textile industry to provide certain relief on the textile custom duty, and seeking that sort of demand, now the government has temporarily suspended the custom duty to 0%. Earlier, 11% custom duty was imposed. Now, the industry is quite hopeful that this temporary suspension might be extended beyond September as well, seeking the kind of challenge that the industry is facing. And government also intends to make the domestic textile industry more competitive. So that sort of arrangement that government has made in, and this will provide certain relief to the industry as well. In addition to this, we are also getting to know from our sources that the garment industry is already facing a higher tariff, plus a kind of a blockage is there in terms of getting new or the fresh order from US because of the tariff uncertainty. And seeking that kind of a challenge to the industry, now the government has provided relief to the custom duty by temporarily suspending from August 19th till September 30th.
Keeping on the issue, we also spoke to Amit Agarwal, Group CFO Raymond, on the issue. Let's listen into what he had to say.
The import for us is a very small percentage, but I think what is important is the sign which is being given that the imports which will come will be at zero rated compared to the 11%. I think it's a good positive move. So it reflects that the industry believes that the government is going to come forward and do few things in order to give us some relief, which is a sector which takes a very large chunk of employment. Because today the US customers are practically saying that we should defer the orders for the Q3 from India to Bangladesh or Vietnam. So I think this is a good relief, but unfortunately the challenge is it has come out as a complete surprise. So what will happen is by the time we place an order and the transit time, 30th September could be over. So very small parcels or consignments can really come to us to take the advantage of that. But if it gets extended, obviously it's a very welcome move. Our export is not only to the US, it is spread over Europe, UK, and with the recently signed UK FTA, I think this is again going to help our exports to UK, Europe, Japan. And that way that could be a margin accretive, but this to the US, I don't think so it would be margin accretive. It is only sharing the burden.
All right, so that's about the cotton and textile sector. But moving on, Prime Minister Narendra Modi held discussions with key ministers and economists after the announcement of the next generation reforms on Independence Day. Sources have told ET Now that the meeting also saw talks on measures to mitigate tariff impact and geopolitical challenges. My colleague Prakash Priyadarshi is now joining us with all the details he has on this front.
The Prime Minister held a high-level meeting on next generation reforms, which was attended by key ministers, secretaries and economists. We are given to understand that the Prime Minister discusses measures to spur economic growth amid complex geopolitical challenges. Key ministries apprised Prime Minister of their preparations to deal with US tariffs. Along with that, roadmap to implement next generation reforms announced on Independence Day came during course of discussion. In fact, issues related to GST 2.0, which was announced by the Prime Minister from Red Fort, discussed. In fact, a formal proposal had been sent to GST, GOM and state governments for their consideration. Along with that, issues related to employment generation, manufacturing sector discussed. Strategies to implement the next set of reforms in a time-bound manner came during course of discussion. In fact, the Prime Minister sought suggestions and advice from the ministries and key stakeholders to implement these reforms in a more effective manner. Along with that, sources are also indicating that the PM's Economic Advisory Council made a presentation before the Prime Minister to address current challenges coming from external sectors. So these are the factors which were taken into consideration. Sources are indicating that the Prime Minister sought suggestions from key economists and given clear direction to the ministries to be prepared and take appropriate measures to mitigate the challenges coming from external sectors, including US tariff. Along with that, this meeting holds significance as another round of 25% US tariff on India is set to take effect on August 27.
All right, let's shift focus to steel sector. We spoke to Steel Secretary Sandeep Pondrik on the safeguard issue. Safeguard duty is relief which has come in for steel sector, and he mentioned that steel prices are still subdued when compared to last year. In fact, he also mentioned during our interaction that government intention is to protect the steel sector. Let's listen into what he had to say.
I will expect that the prices will remain stable, taking into account the demand and supply situation, and also the fact that we have adequate supplies for the domestic demand. So the prices, I don't see any risk of prices going up too much or unreasonably because of the safeguard duty. So exports are holding for now, but with CBAM coming up, there are challenges before the domestic steel industry. Government is conscious, and we are planning to bring a scheme to incentivize domestic steel industry to produce lower carbon steel. That is under planning, and we will focus more on the small scale industry because a lot of export is happening through them. The DGTR has also recommended that developing nations, for example, may be exempted, barring few, and then a threshold has been given. So again, that balances the requirement of consumers and producers, because if the steel is coming at a higher price than the threshold, then the safeguard duty will not be applicable. So I think it's a good recommendation for the steel sector. 200 days timeline finishes on 6th of November. Till that date, the provisional duty is applicable. So I will expect that the government takes a call before that, because after that, the provisional duty will expire unless a final decision is taken on this duty, on the recommendation of DGTR. So I will generally expect that before that a decision may be taken, but ultimately it's the finance ministry's call.
All right, so that's the latest word coming from the Steel Secretary. But with that, we're completely timed out on this edition of Your Trades. Ankur and I will take your leave, but don't go anywhere as action continues on the other side.